Oh, Joe Biden. Joe Biden, Joe Biden, Joe Biden. Where do we even begin with Joe Biden? I don't think I've ever seen anybody so gaffe-tastic as Joe Biden. I'm going to miss him. We should keep him around as a clown. Seriously, give him one of those pointy hats and let him just do jokes and have him be a clown once in a while. This guy, if he was on the right, this guy would be the most hated man in America. He would be. Because they would actually pay attention to him. They'd say he is everything they say the right is. He really is one of the most ridiculous, racist. You know what he is? At best, he's our grandparents. The worst part of our grandparents. You remember when our grandparents were like, okay, Grandpa, we don't say that. That's really, that's Mr. 1940s. I remember my grandfather saying, and he was so serious, and I must have been about 8, and I knew, Grandpa, you're talking about 40 years out of time here. But I remember my grandfather being dead serious and saying, I want you to know, no matter what anybody tells you about coloreds, they're good people. I'm like, okay, Grandpa, I know that, and I don't think I've ever heard the word coloreds before. That's who Joe Biden is. Mm-hmm. You know, he's that out-of-time grandpa that you're like, okay, I'm embarrassed by you now.
Again, you're giving him the benefit of the doubt.
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Because they would never do that for someone who is a conservative. They would be a hateful racist that was insensitive to everything. Every time Joe Biden does one of these, it's just, he's the sweet old grandpa that just,
That's just Joe. That's Joe being Joe.
I can't say that about what he said yesterday. Remember, you couldn't say we're going to politically target someone. That's dangerous. Because you're gonna start all kinds of riots, you're gonna start all kinds of hatred, you're stirring things up. What does Joe Biden come out yesterday and say? Listen to this.
Look, because now we got a real clear picture, as Tom pointed out. We got a real clear picture of what they all value. They've said it. Every Republican's voted for it. Look at what they value and look at their budget and what they're proposing. Romney wants to he said in the first 100 days, he's going to let the big banks once again write their own rules.
Stop.
Did he say that?
Has he said that?
Yeah, it does.
In the
quote.
The first 100 days?
Yeah,
he's going to let the big banks write their own rules.
He said, he followed up on that and made it a little worse, I thought, when he said, especially Chase Bank and my friends at Citi that I'm in bed with who contribute to my campaign so greatly.
Hang on just a second.
I'm going to let them do whatever I'm going to let them get away with murder if they want.
Really?
That's what
I don't remember that.
I thought it was inadvisable when he said it.
I think you've said too much, Mitt. You've said too much. I'm going to let them write their own rules. He also, and a lot of people haven't heard this because it hasn't been reported because of the right-wing controlled media. But Mitt has also come out and said he's going to smuggle guns across the border and give them and put them in the hands of the drug cartels.
Yeah, that was not good either.
Oh, no, wait a minute.
That was done.
That was done by the Obama. Anyway, let's not focus on that one too much. Again, there's more from Joe.
Wall Street. They're going to put you all back in chains.
Oh, geez.
He said he's going to do nothing about stopping the practice of outsourcing. Republicans.
Remember that too? When he said he's not going to do nothing? I'm not going to do nothing about the practice of outsourcing.
Okay, hang on just a second. This is the most racist white guy stuff I've ever heard. Wow. Listen, come on.
It's not the most racist white stuff I've ever heard.
All right. Okay, you're right. I have.
You're talking about Joe Biden here. He's got worse than this.
Okay.
I mean, you've read Woodrow Wilson.
I've read Woodrow Wilson. I've also read Mein Kampf. So it's really not the most racist.
Right.
But it is, for a vice president in today's world.
It's shocking.
It is shocking. Mm-hmm. First of all, if you play this, do you remember the audio that from Hillary Clinton where Hillary's like, They don't tell me, don't they tell me I'm tired. I ain't no tired.
Oh, that was
and
the
you're
worst.
like, what the hell is this? Joe Biden just did this.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden is trying to become black, I think.
I think he's doing some sort of accent
Southern
there.
black. I'm not sure what he's doing. But he says they're going to put you back in change, and then he becomes like, I don't know. A character, a Jackie Gleason character from Smokey and the Bandit.
Just the word y'all would get Romney 4 days of ridicule by the mainstream
Exactly.
media.
This man is from Delaware.
Yeah, you don't use the word y'all. He never says y'all. He never. And if a Republican had done this, that would be a huge focus. And then talking about the chains thing, putting you back in chains when there's a group of black people in the room that's unbelievable. It's inconceivable.
It is. Romney was right. We have to play the audio from Mitt Romney as well. Romney comes out yesterday, and he comes out swinging.
Yeah.
As he should.
He was strong.
This is incredible coming from the Vice President of the United States. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah, here's what Romney said yesterday.
So, Mr. President, take your campaign of division and anger and hate back to Chicago and let us get about rebuilding and reuniting America.
I think Mitt's getting a little sick of it. I think Mitt's being tired of being called a murderer, felon, tax evader for 10 years. I think he's had his fill.
Here's the best thing about this. I think Mitt Romney is a stronger man than I am, because I don't think he's going to be. He's not going to become angry about it. I think that's Mitt being angry right there.
It's about as far as he goes.
That's about as far as he goes, and that's about as far as he should go.
Yeah.
You know, the good thing about Mitt Romney is the campaign that he's running right now is very optimistic and very forward. It's very Ronald Reagan. I mean, he's really doing a great job. Whether it works or not, I don't know. But he's doing a great job. He is representing not necessarily all of the policies that I agree with, but he's representing the principles that I agree with. Romney is. He is behaving in such a way that he's bringing credibility and honor back to he's. For instance, when I say he's a better man than I am or a stronger man than I am, I'd be unleashing on these guys. I would just be, and I would be right down the. I don't think it needs to be said anymore. I think people, and I really think that Obama is counting on us. There's a chance, and this just came to me as I say this out loud for the first time, and so this always gets me in trouble, but there's a chance that Mitt Romney is truly following the dictates of the spirit here on this one, because the natural man does not want to do what he's doing. The natural man wants revenge, wants a pound of flesh, and he's not doing it. And it's exactly the same kind of prompting that I have been on in the last, I don't know how long, of love, love, love. We've got enough hate. We have enough division. And I can't do it. I'm not strong enough to do it. But Romney is.
Very disciplined.
Very disciplined, and he's doing the right thing. And I'm hoping that that's as angry as we ever see Mitt Romney. Because you have a right to be. When you are saying, think about what Joe Biden just said. First of all, lie. Mm-hmm. That we are going to let the banks write the rules. That's an out-and-out, absolute lie. Mm-hmm. And then to follow an out-and-out lie with, they're going to put you all back in chains. Oh, my gosh. You want to talk about the politics of hatred, the politics of division, the politics of racism. It's right there. And you want to talk about stirring something up. If you get somebody who's listening, let me give the lecture that the president has given all of us. If somebody happens to be listening to you and they take that seriously and they decide they have to stop, then you're responsible for it. Any kind of race hatred on the street, Mr. President, you and your vice president are responsible for. I've never heard the office of the president. You'll notice if you ever watch GBTV or you watch us in the morning, you will see that I've never done anything in the radio on radio in the Oval Office. I have a set, an exact duplicate of the Oval Office. I have only done the one bit that we do once a week, and it's written by me and a speechwriter, formerly a speechwriter of the President of the United States, and we keep that sacred. It's a set. It's a stupid set. But we don't ever taint that. We never taint it. Why? Because the office means more. The office elevates us. We're supposed to, it's Ronald Reagan. Wear a jacket in the office. It deserves a jacket. Show it respect. This president and vice president have so soiled, more so than Richard Nixon, more so than Bill Clinton. I mean, we could at least get the stains out of the carpet after Clinton. Nixon did a really horrible thing to the presidency. Horrible. Clinton, I don't think did worse than Nixon did, but Clinton really hurt our children with what he was doing in the Oval, and we did worse by accepting it. But this president has taken the entire office, not just the Oval, the entire office, and just made it into a printing press for money, a terrorist hangout, a place for communists, and now taken the seal and the dignity of the president and thrown it under the bus, where they're lying about people. They're completely changing what we are as a people, as a nation, and now using it to divide us and cause race riots. Because that's what this kind of rhetoric leads to.
Well, I mean, you talked about something like the terrorist thing you just mentioned. You know, you're talking about people from the Muslim Brotherhood who have come and visited the White House, which have ties to terrorist groups.
For this administration.
So we've talked about a lot of that stuff before. To me, I mean, when you're talking about the race wars thing, I think a lot of that applies only by their standard. Because, like you've said a million times, like, this does this and this can enslave you. There's nothing wrong with using that language per se. I don't think that, Alan West, they talk about Alan West, who
That's
has
not
said
what he
things
said.
like that as well. Well, he's talking about take the chains off of you, which he's talking about, he's using slavery
as a metaphor.
As a metaphor.
That's not what they're saying here.
Well, he's talking about Wall Street, right? I mean, he's not talking about literally, people in Wall Street are going to put you in chains. I mean, he's talking about, writing your own rules. They're going to be able to do whatever they want. And
who put, and I say this with the Republicans having an equal amount of blame in this. Who is responsible for, if you want to use his rhetoric, putting people in chains? Freddie and Fannie, that's who. Congress, saying you have to lower the standards. They enslaved people to debt by making it completely consequence-free. Mm-hmm. They are enslaving our children to the debt. I have no problem saying you want to enslave to debt. But if you want to talk about chains, Mr. President, you have put chains around, as we talked about yesterday with that piece from Walt Disney. Walt Disney was rejected by 3 banks in 1953 on his idea of Disneyland. He couldn't get the financing. He couldn't get his own people in his own company to back this idea of Disneyland in 1953. By 1955, Disneyland was open. You want to talk about slavery or enslaving people, you're doing it with your regulation. So how is it that if Mitt Romney was for deregulation, those are more chains? Those are more chains? No. And then, I'm sorry, but with everything that is being said by the left, where they are saying, if my son looked like that, I have a son, he could have looked like that, he would have been killed. All the stuff that they've excused from the Black Panthers, all of the things that they've brushed under. Who was the congressman or the representative that yesterday came out with, it was up on the Blaze, I didn't see it. There's another one on race. that I just read the headline on, where they were talking about how the GOP is targeting black people, and they don't say anything about the Black Panthers, who have come out yesterday and said they are going to be stepping on the necks of the GOP. These guys are starting a race war. They're trying to. The great thing is I think that there is a peace and a fatigue. A fatigue. We're so tired of being tired. We're so tired of being angry. It doesn't work anymore. We were angry 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I'm not angry. I'm just tired of it. I'm just not going to deal with it anymore. I'm just tired. They lose. We're going to give you a list in a minute. I said 3 years ago, they're not enemies of ours. They're enemies of his. They're not enemies of ours. They'll destroy themselves. I want to give you a list of how these people have destroyed themselves. Fareed Zakaria is the next one on the list. He's just destroyed himself. Over and over again, these guys destroy themselves. They give them enough rope. They just hang themselves. All of them are hanging themselves. And someday it will come to, and I think it's going to be in November, these guys are just destroying themselves because what they're saying is untrue. It's an out-and-out lie. And darkness it doesn't win in the end.